Hello everybody! Guess who? It's the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nich Dutch, back on the camera again one more time for another delightful tarot show. That's right, it's time to play the music, time to light the lights. No, wait a second, that's from the Muppet Show. For some reason, I'm just on a great roll today. Everything's going absolutely fantastic for me at the moment. What I thought I'd do is I'd get on the camera, do another tarot show, and basically try and spread the love about. Now, you know the way I do this show. I have not actually had a look at any of the reading requests which have come through. If you yourself want to place a reading request, you're more than welcome to, and I'll be happy to add you to the rotor, okay? And when you're on the rotor, I'll get around to doing your reading. Don't make it too long, don't make it too short, okay? I don't want war and peace, I don't just want one line, alright? It helps to have your first name and your date of birth as well, and you can also stipulate whether you'd like me to mention your channel name or your first name if you prefer, depending upon whether you want the anonymity of YouTube or you don't want me to mention any of them or either of them, no matter what. I don't read upon pregnancy, medical matters or childbirth for legal and ethical reasons. There's a few other minor issues I don't feel too happy about. But to the most part, it's a question of like, hey, anything goes. Now, I'll just quickly run through a few of the other basic stuff that you need to know prior to actually getting straight on with the work, because there's quite a few requests out there. There's going to be a backlog at the end of the show. I know there is, okay? But that's not a bad thing, because if there's a backlog, that means there's going to be another show, okay? So you can carry on just like waiting for the next show to come along. I didn't do a show last week. Sometimes it's a question of time and energy, or I need to put in a bit of extra hours. Sometimes it's a question of I've actually got to live the spirituality that I'm actually, doing. I need time for myself. I need to just focus and reflect, meditate, and do all that kind of stuff, just to keep myself together, if you know what I mean. It's a hectic bit of work, what I do. Yes, you might think that, oh, he's a tarot reader, must be an easy bit of work. I'm telling you it's not. Because day in, day out, every single day, there's people who are burdening me with their problems. And that's a good thing, because I feel that my life is actually being made worthwhile, because I'm taking on a bit of time out of my day as part of my working routine to basically listen, to take on board what they're talking about, provide them with a bit of relief, a bit of perspective, and to try and help somebody, just try and do somebody some good. Okay, I can't solve all of their problems. What I can do is give them that moment to be able to get some stuff out of their system, or just give them a bit of reflection or an opportunity to try and see life in a different way. Now, this is an entertainment service. Legally speaking, morally speaking, ethically speaking, all the rest of that, this should be regarded, no matter what, as an entertainment service. But people around the world claim to have received some kind of benefit, be it therapeutic or whatever, from having had a tarot reading. And that's a good enough reason for me to carry on doing this stuff, okay? So that's basically what I'm about. That's most of the formalities out the way. Don't forget the 3 minutes giveaway, alright? Because what I'm offering is 3 free minutes to every new customer who comes along. There's going to be a link down there which you can then go to and then basically just click straight on, set up an account, and basically you will get your 3 free minutes. And I've got another deal as well, and that is that if you have 5 paid minutes with me, I'll throw you in an extra 5 free minutes, okay? So that's what, 13 minutes total for the price of like 5 if you're a new customer. Alright, now that extra 5 free minutes, that is just a temporary offer, so I can't guarantee, if you're watching this video like 1 year after I've made it, I can't guarantee that the same offer is going to be on, okay, if you get my drift. It is time limited, so basically click the link, set up an account, and get on the phone with me. For you people in America, I'm normally available in the mornings your time, okay? I think I worked it out on from East Coast time, that's about from 4:30 in the morning, and no, West Coast time from 4:30 in the morning, East Coast time from 7:30 in the morning, onwards for about 5-6 hours. Sometimes I stay longer, sometimes I don't, okay, but that's mainly the time frame that I'm available. Also available on Live Person during the same time frame as well, and that's so cool. Now, if you're in the UK, around about the South Midlands area, and you're organising a party or an entertainment event, and you want to have someone absolutely amazing just to make all of your party guests feel really, really excited and happy, then basically invite me along. Okay, go to my website, nichdutch.co.uk. There's an email link somewhere on there, which means that you can get straight through. I think it's parties at nichdutch.co.uk, P-A-R-T-I-E-S, at Nich Dutch, spelled Nickdutch.co.uk, and you can book me for a party, and I'll be more than happy to help and oblige. And I'm quite reasonable rates-wise as well, so essentially, I'm not doing this to become a multi-millionaire. Obviously it would help, but I'm not doing this to become a multi-millionaire, so It's there because I enjoy the work. It's there because I believe I can actually do people some good. It's there because I've got some faith in what I'm doing, and it's all good. All right. Subscribe to this channel if you're watching on blip.tv, because this is also on blip.tv/Nich Dutch. Okay. Then if you want to submit a request, you still have to do it via the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/NichDutchTarot. Okay, and also if you've got a website and you'd like to have the tarot show every single time it comes out, once every week or two, then basically you can go to the blip.tv page, and I think you can actually get an embeddable player which will update automatically when the next show goes live, which is traditionally on a Wednesday. Okay, that's normally when I try and get this done for you. Recorded on a Tuesday night, converted on a Tuesday night, then I go through all the lengthy editing process whilst I'm taking calls in the morning on the Wednesday. Then I finally render it, I get it uploaded to YouTube and blip.tv, which can be very erratic with a very long file, like the ones I tend to create, using this camera, this technology, and the rest of it. But eventually it gets up there, okay? And from that point, it can then be viewed for the entire week. Yes, the readings I'm doing for you here, they're a taster. I can't always go 110% into the issues in question. I try and provide some depth, but I can't just really plow into it. And sometimes, yes, you do need to get on the phone and basically use up those 3 minutes. Just use up those 3 free minutes. We'll see how much good I can do for you. You know full well I'm a caffeine addict, I'm just quick, I'm fast, I'm buzzy, I'm trying to get to the point straight away. I don't want to keep you hanging on the phone forever. I'm not here to make you poor. Alright, get that through into your thick heads, okay? I'm not here to make you poor. I'm not like one of these tarot readers who says that, I'll speak really slowly to make you pay a fortune. No, that's not the way that Nich Dutch does things. I am not here to make you poor. I'm here to provide you with the entertainment service which you're paying for. Yes, I'm here to provide you with the depth that you're after. And with some people, I can just do that in 1, 2, or 3 minutes, okay? And with some people, it takes longer. Some issues you do have to call back, so we can just try and explore other avenues and explore other issues, okay? It depends upon how much help you really want to get, okay? And I can't actually give you, boom, a War and Peace answer in 3 minutes, but I can try and do the best I can within that time, and then the rest of it has to be up to your introspection. Now, I often say to my customers, never make up your mind about any situation immediately after a call with a reader. Now that should be quite self-explanatory, because essentially this can give you another perspective. Don't jump to conclusions. Use it to reflect upon it. Disagree with me if you wish. All right, you're free to do that. Sometimes even the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nich Dutch can actually be wrong. Okay, it does happen once in a while. Okay, but anyway, that's enough of my ramblings. Don't forget, use the link. Use your 3 minutes. It's there for you. Okay, and even watching this video is you looking after yourself and looking after a bit of, take a bit of time out of your day, out of your week, out of your month, out of your year. Settle down, just you and me, and we can just talk things out. This is entertainment on YouTube taken to a new level, because the inquiries that are going to come through, they are real inquiries from real people, and this is participant observation, kind of like ultimate cool stuff. On top of that, it's like audience participation. It's just like you participating with me participating with you. Interactivity taken to the extreme. Now, that's enough of my ramblings for the moment. I have been doing what I normally do, and I've been shuffling my Book of Thoth Tarot like an absolute lunatic, okay? I'm going to have a look at the first reading of today, and we can see where we can go from there. Now, stay right there. I'll be right back. Louise, 1234 UK. Absolutely wonderful of you to submit your message via private message here on YouTube. Okay, you're going through a bit of a problem with your relationship. You're concerned it might be coming to an end. You're concerned that it could be getting better. You want to know basically what the heck's going to go on. Well, what Nich Dutch is going to do for you today is a traditional 8-card relationship reading, and we're going to go into it bit by bit. Stay right with me. Right, now the reason I'm doing it this way is so that you can see basically what I've got in front of me. This is the 8-card relationship reading. There have been people sending me messages saying, tell me about this reading, this wonderful spread that you do. Well, here it is. We got 2 cards for you, Louise. We got 2 cards for your partner. We got one for what I call the forces between the two of you, the thing which describes and defines the relationship. And on top of that, we got progression, short-term, mid-term, and long-term future. They don't always work precisely in that particular structure, but it's because it depends upon the impressions that I get as well as what I see here. But essentially, you're getting the picture. You got the here and now defined by 5 cards. You got the progression defined by 3 cards. Okay. Now, currently things are not very good. Now, the force between the two of you coming out very strongly with the 9 of Swords. Bit of a sense of negativity there. You can tell by the colours it's not actually all that good. It's like Saturnian. There's a sense of powerlessness, a sense of difficulty, a sense of frustration. Basically, he's not dealing very well with you. He's not really being open to all that much in the way of change. On his side of things, he's got some very dark signs there, a bit of a dark emotion about him. So he's looking at the world in a very black light. You know, he's really... he's just depressed, he's anxious, he's frustrated, he's looking at his own past and thinking, oh my god, what a terrible character I was. He's living in the past, basically. And it's a negative past that happened even before you came along onto the scene. So he's jumping to conclusions about a relationship, but on the other hand, he's got this, like, split-minded mentality, because he's got love for you there, very strong cup signs coming out there with the Queen of Cups. Absolutely fascinating signs, talking about the fact that he actually wants to be nurturing and loving. But the negative signs on his side of things as well are basically not allowing him to, like, open up and do basically what is the next right thing. So it's his own negativity that's holding him back. But that's just what he's like in the here and now. It's not the way he's going to be in the future necessarily. Depends upon the signs we got in the future and the feelings I'm getting from the future. So we've tackled the nature of the relationship at the moment. Powerlessness, difficulty, stress, emotional negativity, boiling away there, okay, difficulty. A lot of it's caused by him. He's dark, he's moody, there's this real depression feeling about him, okay. Signs on your side of the reading. Okay, well, you're the more intelligent one, you're the more peaceful one. Again, you've got love signs for him. This is still a very good match. Why? We've got a male significator on your side of things, showing me that you're thinking about him an awful lot. We've got a female significator on his side of things. Again, the Suit of Cups. Again, the Suit of Cups. There is love going on here. It's a very good bond on many different levels, but you got this problem. He's showing signs of negativity. You're showing signs of struggle and strife, but on top of that, you're also the mercurial, happy, intelligent, civilized, straight-thinking one. Okay, so this is going to be very hard for you, I know, but you're going to have to be the one to actually do some leading in this particular relationship to make sure you can actually make things work out according to plan, which is going to be very hard and will require bravery because you got this negativity to overcome in the here and now. Right, okay, now the more important bit, because you are asking whether this is coming to an end. Do we see the Death card? Do we see the Devil card? Do we see a combination amongst those signs which is suggesting a complete end to the relationship? No, we don't. Right, short-term future signs, 4 of coins there. What is so important about that? It's talking about strength, stability, protection. There's a feeling of continuity, but there's also a feeling of stagnation. Okay, if you were in, like, the medieval period, and you were a king or a queen in a castle, and you had all the enemies attacking from the outside, you couldn't really go anywhere. So there is a feeling of stagnation about that, which is another reason why it's reversed, okay? But there's still that feeling of continuity, so it's going to be a bit rubbish for a little while. I nearly said a rude word there. I'll try my hardest not to. I really am trying to cut down on my swearing on YouTube, okay? So that, you know, people start seeing me for basically what I really am, not, you know, me trying to be a hip, cool 21-year-old. I'm actually a mature, nearly 37-year-old, okay? Progression from there further forward. Signs there, absolutely fantastic. We saw the love signs on his side of things. We saw the love signs on your side of things. It's being re-echoed there in the mid-term future. When is the mid-term future for things to actually be okay? The bad news is, and there's always a bit of bad news when there's a bit of good news. That's why there's a checkerboard symbol within the Freemasonry lodges. It's talking about the good and the bad, the black squares and the white squares. Okay, that's what life is, okay? The bad news is it could happen at a pessimistic time frame between 3 and 6 months down the line from now. And it depends upon how well you manage to keep yourself in this protected, strong state so that you can actually have the discussions that you need to overturn the negativity in the forces between the two of you, to start making those love signs on his side of things become predominant and the love signs on your side of things become predominant, for forgiveness to occur, for the negativity to go away, and so we can start to see some glorious cup signs coming together, okay? Your cup signs, his cup signs, all working together in harmony. That's why we got a mirror reflection in terms of the colours and in terms of the type of energy there. Very water orientated, water dominated, sense of togetherness, being knitted together, wound together by fate, destiny. There's something interesting about this relationship that you've got to experience so that you can learn from it. Now, in some cases it's a question of, what have I got to learn? Well, you got to learn what it's like to meet a real asshole. But on other cases, it's more a question of, maybe it's a question of having difficulties, and learning forgiveness, learning to overcome them, learning to discuss problems with a difficult individual, so you can then move on to essentially the most important part of the reading, which is a sense of peace, balance, harmony, and even wisdom flowing both ways, and you don't have that stalemate that you had earlier on in the reading with that sense of protection. So there is a potential there. I do not see this coming to an end. I do see it being difficult, and it depends upon how you play it during the short term. Wow, baby, and that's what I call a rapid synopsis. Okay, and that's what I call a tarot reading as well. That's sometimes the way it should be. Okay, sometimes it needs to be quiet and slow and empathic. Sometimes it needs to, like, really, you know, shoot from the hip and give it to you straight. You know, straight, no chaser, double caffeine. You know, vodka and Red Bull. You get the drift. You know, we're talking about ultimate, like, straight delivery. On to the next reading of today. Okay, Love Puppy 16. Yes, we have had some past life inquiries come through on the tarot show. And yes, you're curious about yours, so I'll use a combination of tarot and anything else that comes through. We'll just see what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods, energies, and all the rest of that appear. So let's have a quick look. I love a bit of variety. Keeps the old, you know, muscles in the brain sort of like going, so to speak. I'm not actually saying there are muscles in the brain, but you get the drift, you know what I mean? Anyway, here goes. Just a second, please. You are someone who is very much in control, possibly a person with some authority, but very unrecognized. A power behind a throne, maybe, allegorically speaking. There's a sense of organization. It feels legal. It almost feels like there was a sheriff of a village, someone who's there to enforce the law to a certain degree. It does feel European-based, geographically speaking. Northern France, possibly Britain. If it is Britain, it will be on the southernmost region, southeast, if it is Britain, but I also see it sort of Brittany or Britain type areas. And there it does appear to be French being spoken. It's almost like I can feel that kind of vibe, you know, the French language, the way it rolls, the way it flows. There's some connection with France, with yourself. And the energy I've got within this particular reading is that of being an advisor, okay? It's almost like you didn't want to have that position of authority. You didn't want to be recognized as being that person in charge. But you did want to be able to say your piece to try and bring things together to a certain point. I feel two powerful families who were at some kind of war with each other, to do with land, to do with property. There were allegations and accusations. Something in my mind tells me allegations of witchcraft, but I'm not too sure about that. Allegations of something which is not right for the time. Allegations of something socially inappropriate for the views of the ruling elite within that particular region. You brought peace. Did just one thing this character did. She died quite early in her life. About my age actually, about the age 36 according to what I'm hearing. But during her life, there's one thing she was very proud of, and that she brought peace between two families. That much I can tell you. And it does have this legal component. And you were in the shadows. You yourself weren't harmed or killed or anything, but you seemed to stop someone else from being killed. That much I can tell you. Preds 123424. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for your compliments, and I'm glad that you found the reading accurate and bang on the money as you said. I'm sorry to hear about the relationship and the way that things have worked out for you, but essentially, let's have a quick look and see basically what's going to happen about your love life moving on into the future. That's what's basically most important here for you, okay? People come to me to think about the past, understand the past, think about the here and now and try and understand the problems they've got right now. But they also come to me to say, hey, what's going to happen next? Well, the bottom line and the big secret is a lot of it's going to be up to you, okay? All I can do is tell you what the reading says, and then you can take it from there, basically, okay? So, we've had one 8-card relationship reading, we've had one past life spread, and now we're doing standard chronological reading. Let's just have a quick look and see. Okay, this is actually really rather interesting. So, I'm just going to show you basically what's turned up, and we'll take it from there one step at a time. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Very interesting, very complex, very confused, and very convoluted. No major significators coming out in this particular reading. I wonder why. Now, this is covering the next period of about 12 months. And we've got a couple of amazing spikes of loving energy coming through. And in fact, during this 12-month period, despite the fact there's a sense of solitude and isolation, which may be a bit of a short-term issue, I don't see that actually happening or lasting for a long period of time, because the energy there is that of enlightenment and wisdom. Something about what has happened that was a part of the old breakup is actually going to be something which is going to come through into your consciousness and give you better reflection as to how to do a relationship better next in the future. Okay, this is actually quite fascinating, it's quite enlightening, and this time period that we're talking about is one in which you're really going to start seeing precisely where you could be going in the loving stakes and taking it from there. Bit of a sense of an increase there, a bit of a sense of an increase there and there, okay? But it's kind of like a bit of enthusiasm, maybe a bit of a teaser is coming along into your life there, and it's going to suggest that something good is going to happen, but it's not going to quite work out according to plan. Then that period of isolation, feeling slightly down, but still like looking back on your life, working out how to improve the art of being in a relationship. And more love signs coming. Now, why do we have the Lovers card at the end of it? Okay, that's the most optimistic sign here. Now, is it the most optimistic sign because it's talking about love, because it's talking about a relationship? In this particular case, it's relating back to what we saw there with the Hermit card reversed, okay? A time of reflection. Now, when the Lovers card turns up, yes, it can mean romantic love. It can mean two people entwined in, the ultimate long-term, long-lasting relationship. And essentially, that is potentially what is going to happen for you within this time period, okay? As a result of the relationship that we'll be building up within, I would say, between 4 to 6 months at the very outside, based upon possibly a connection at about that time, the very short-term future. But essentially, it's also talking about a time of greater, much greater responsibility brought about by introspection and understanding and thinking, oh my word, that's the way I should have been doing things, okay? Not this sort of like feeling of, I was right all along, but a question of, oh my word. It's not that I was the bad guy, it's a question of I was acting inappropriately. That's the issue there. A way that you saw things, a way that you spoke, a way that you dealt with an issue, okay? Something which helped to make things worse. Now, the breakup itself wasn't entirely your fault. Don't get me wrong. It takes two to tango. Alright? But on the other hand, with every single breakup, as well as every single unification, we always learn more about ourselves. So essentially, that's part of the message for you today. Do I see a relationship occurring? Potentially, yes. Do I feel it's with the same individual? It's difficult to say, okay? The signs of interest are there, but there was no main significators. The fact there are no main significators suggests it could be the same person, getting better, getting over it, coming back into your life as a result of your own willpower, and something really good and juicy happening towards the end of it, okay? That's what could actually be happening, hypothetically. But on the other hand, there's no real signs of familiarity, so the reading's leaving it open. This is the right time of life for you to start developing the relationship of your dreams without the shadow of a doubt. So it's looking very good and looking very interesting, but it might be or it might not be the same individual. I cannot guarantee. Watch out for changes in your own perceptions and the way that you deal with relationships moving on into the future. And here is your bit of cute, soft, fluffy YouTube catness for the moment. Hardly a lol cat, maybe it's a psychic cat. He always knows when I'm doing a tarot show. If you notice that, he comes along, sometimes jumps on my lap, but either way, he knows what I'm doing. He knows I'm not paying any attention to him in the here and now, and he absolutely demands my attention. Isn't that right, Master? Isn't that right, Master? Because he rules the house, He rules the house. He tells me when to feed him, he tells me when to play with him, and of course, I have to oblige, otherwise he will just jump on me in the dead of the night and won't let me get any sleep. That's cats for you. Anyway, on with the next reading of today. Okay, my Sheikah, you want to study medicine. Very ambitious, go for it. All guns blazing. I'm pretty sure you can do well, but let's see what the reading says for you today. Bear with me a second, please. We're looking out for mercurial signs. Oh! Okay, I've got to show you this. Now, I don't know whether you know tarot all that much. Some of you people out there will know tarot and will know that there's one particular card, the Star card, which is known as the Wish card. Okay, and what it means is wishes coming true, making sure, you go for what you wish for, okay? There is a message of be careful what you wish for, so it can also mean that actually going through the process of becoming involved in medicine could in fact be quite hard work, okay? But on the other hand, you know, I would go for it to the best of your ability. We got some academic science there, we got a sense of balance, a sense of harmony, we got a sense of you being in control. So the bottom line is, I would carry on going for it. But if there's a feeling of like hard work being done to try and get there, then essentially there'll be hard work to try and get there. And sometimes you just got to accept that it'll be a bit tricky to try and get to basically where you want to go. Alright? Okay, Jackinder Stewart. You want to know whether there's another path for you apart from working as an estate agent. Commission-only work can be a real pain. Okay? You know, that's just like running your own business, and you got to be proactive and all the rest of that, and sometimes the work just doesn't come in. And yes, we are in a global recession at the moment, and that doesn't help any business, even including mine. Okay, things are a lot, you know, lower income wise at the moment, so I'm really feeling it sometimes. But essentially, let's have a quick look and see what the reading says about another path for you. Just a second, please. Okay. Need for change coming through very strongly there. Two of coins. The two of coins is similar to the death card, but it's slightly different, okay? Because it's talking about a kind of transformation that is possibly along similar lines, but slightly different as well. I still see you essentially either dealing with property or dealing proactively. Maybe it's more a question of taking your knowledge, okay? Taking your knowledge, taking your wisdom, and applying that in a different way. Here we got a different message to a Saturnian sign. Because it's coming out with the Two of Coins, there is a changed meaning associated with that. It's not that kind of like oppressive, heavy feeling. It's more a question of enlightenment and wisdom, which has come out of hard studying or hard work. So I don't think that you can throw all your experience away, but you need to use that to maybe sell advice or to provide other people with direction. There's some websites in which you can go and you can provide professional advice. Maybe you want to set up your own website, and in the evenings you can basically sit on the phone, take a few calls from people who want to buy and sell property. And you could just advise them and take some commission on that, rather than like I do when I'm doing tarot. But you've got to find the right website that can actually do that, especially, I mean, if you're in the USA it'll be easier, but there could be ways of doing it here in the UK, because we're slowly getting into that kind of mentality over here anyway. But there's also a sense of passion associated with some difficulty, okay, because the Lust card doesn't just deal with, you know, if you get my drift, you know, I mean, it's not just dealing with that. It's dealing with your passion and drive for your work, for your life, for the things you want to do. But there's also some dark colors associated with that, suggesting frustration or being held back, you know. Here we go. A sense of blending your ideas and blending your energy coming through in the Arts card of the Major Arcana. As I said, use your knowledge, use your skills, use your perception, and try and get somewhere better as a result of where you are and what you've been doing. So try and see what you've gone through as being a building block or a foundation for better things. Alright? And try and think creatively, think broad, get a pen and paper and write down everything you've learnt, and then just, I don't know, surf the internet wildly and see if you can find something at random that might jog your memory of somewhere else to go. Write that down as well as a new idea, do a bit more surfing, get a few more ideas, write them down, and build up a bigger picture as to where you want to go. Okay, Tiona and Logan. I'll do this one next. Okay, Tiona, what I will say is thank you very much. It's always very good when people give me feedback and say, Nick, you know, you were spot on, you were accurate and all the rest of that. It does me a lot of good, because basically what have I got to go on, okay? A few impressions, a few feelings, a few thoughts, a few energies, okay, or whatever you want to call them. And what's coming out here, and all I can do is tell you what I can see, and that's it. And I got, you know, I don't always have that kind of like feedback as to, you know, the accuracy of what I'm saying. I just throw it out there and I just hope for the best, basically. And then people come back to me and they say, like, Nick, you know, you were absolutely wonderful, spot on, you got it right. And I love it when that happens. You know, it makes me feel proud, makes my work worthwhile. So, you know, just carry on letting me know all the good stuff. We'll have a look at your relationship, standard 8 card relationship reading, and we'll see where we can go from there. Okay. Okay, this is a bit of a difficult one, because you're in a difficult situation. Obviously, bear in mind I've shuffled the cards very thoroughly. We've got a few repeated signs coming through, but don't worry about that. There's only 78 in the pack, and the more you shuffle, you know, it happens that way sometimes. But there's often another reason, so it seems, as to why certain energies or certain cards come through with certain meanings. So we'll have a quick look and see basically what the Mystic Tarot is going to say for you today. Right, okay. You've already got a situation which is quite strong and stable. On your side of things, you're the one who's experiencing some form of negativity associated with this. Now, you asked me basically what's going on inside his head. Now, we got some dark signs there because essentially that's what you're experiencing. There is something strange going on between you and him. You're feeling it. You know that there's something fantastic which could happen just around the corner associated with this. You've got many more gifts to give him. You don't feel you can tell him about them at the moment because he's basically not being all that positive to you. Why isn't he being all that positive to you? Let's have a quick look. This is the kind of weird individual. I mean, this guy you're involved with, this guy Logan, I think you said his name was. He's in a dream world. He dreams in a negative way. He thinks badly about things which are good. He's dreaming about things he can't have. He envies people who've got more than he has. That envy is affecting him badly. But he does love you, but he can't quite do the next right thing. Now, I often see the Eight of Cups, which is often labeled as indolence. I don't know whether you can see that there. It's a bit worn because I use this deck every single day when I'm working over the internet, working over the telephone, as being sort of like, you know, laid back because he doesn't really want to do anything. It's laziness, okay? This is someone who basically should start showing responsibility and saying, like, hang on a minute, I want something to happen here, but he's not doing that. And his dream world is not really helping, so he's got no real way of trying to, like, separate the, you know, the sheep from the goats, so to speak, and try and make sure that things can actually work out according to plan. But you've got this stable state of instability between you and him. This relationship isn't going to go anywhere, but he's like dreary. I get the feeling, though, that there's something else that he's doing which basically is not all that positive either, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Okay, something tells me that you suspect that he's doing something which basically he shouldn't. Now, we'll have to see basically where things are going to go in the future part of the reading. Here we go, here we go, here we go. The first thing that you will notice, and all you budding tarot readers out there, all you people who want to know about tarot and how to be a tarot reader, look at the colours. That's the first thing that we've got here, okay? We got fiery signs, we got energy, we got vitality, we got something positive coming through within the short-term future. Okay, the Prince of Wands symbolises the Archangel Michael, the one who works the miracles of the Lord God, okay? Something miraculous is going to happen, which is going to help to hold you guys together and to allow the progression to occur. Bright, sunny signs there, and a sense of developing a bit more in the way of balance, okay? This card, which is often labelled as strength, in this case, as you can see, it is the Nine of Staves. Look at what we got there, okay? We've got a sun on the left, we've got a moon on the right. Balance, harmony, every single force being in the right place. If we didn't have the sun, if we didn't have the moon, this would be a very different earth, and we wouldn't be able to have life as we know it, okay? So this is a question of trying to understand and appreciate that, and have gratitude for the good things you've got in your life, and trying to overturn the bad things, you know what I mean? Yes, there's negativity here. Yes, there's misunderstandings going on here. Yeah, he's got a weird mentality, okay? But on the other hand, think about the fact that you've actually got him in the here and now, okay? From your side of things, you can help to reduce this negativity and start focusing in on the positivity, okay? So we can end up putting that card on top of there, because what I want you to do is to go through a period of gratitude. Think about what you have got, not what you haven't got, because sometimes his negativity, because of his dream worlds, okay, his dream world of, I want to have this, I want to have that, and I want to have the other. Some of that thinking can start wearing off on yourself. Now, you're going to stop thinking like that because you're going to write down a list of everything you're grateful for, from the smallest to the largest. Have you had a meal today? Do you have a roof over your head? Have you paid your most recent bills? Do you have, like, some of the basics of life? And get the balance and perspective in place. Because as you start to go through the process of doing that, then something great can happen, which means that you're going to start reflecting positively onto him. He's going to start moving out of his dream world, okay? And the negativity is not going to be there quite so much. You're both going to recognize there's a stability, which is going to start happening that way around and not the other way around, and then you can start moving towards the peaceful, balanced signs in the future. And yes, you can only control what's on your side of the street right now, so focus in on that. Don't worry about where he is, just you be a positive character and train yourself to think about the positives you've got. Alright, everybody, let's have a quick look at the next reading of today. Okay, Adrien. Alright. You've got a relationship with someone, or a kind of relationship, and basically she's dating somebody else. You want to know what in the name of all that's holy is going on here, okay? And I understand where you're coming from, because basically, stuff has happened in my personal history, my distant personal history, when I was trying to get involved with people and all the rest of that, and they were saying this and all the rest of that, and the behavior was different, and they were with somebody else, and what was really happening. So I can understand why you're making that request with me today. So let's have a quick look, see what the reading says, and take it from there one step at a time, okay? Standard 8 card relationship reading coming up. Now you know how it's done. For those of you who are training yourself to be tarot readers, now you can do it yourself, okay? Okay, she's out of whack. Okay, we got the Judgment card, which is reversed. It's called adjustment here because she's being maladjusted. She's a confused individual. She sees life in a very weird way. Alright, she's got feelings for you, yeah, she's got that sense of connectivity with you, but she's someone who suffers from soulmate disease. Namely, well, it's what I call soulmate disease. It's not really a disease, okay, it's just like a really messed up way of looking at life. Because she absolutely wants to have the ideal kind of like relationship that's all beautiful and happy, but the strange thing is, when we get into a relationship, it always feels perfect, but that feeling always dies off at some point. Okay? That part of the relationship, the early part of the relationship where things feel good, is intoxicating for some people. And they get addicted to that. So when it all drops off, they want to have that again. So they start up another relationship. And that's an addiction. Okay, I think that that's where she is. And when you contact her next, when you speak to her next, because you've got to be the proactive one here, okay? Often the woman will want the man to do some of the work. Sometimes the woman should be doing some of the work herself. In your case, you're the one who's got to take supreme responsibility here and make sure something happens. On your side of things, you're feeling hurt. You're feeling like your world's been turned upside down. You don't quite know what to think about her. You want to be her stability. We've got these signs coming up again. Yes, again. It's absolutely amazing. And you are a very stable individual. But you're concerned about, you know, basically what's going on here because it's all a bit confusing. It's not confusing. She is confused and she wants to be, you know, addicted to that. Boom. I want to start a new relationship because I want to feel happy, I want to feel happy, I want to feel happy. Well, basically, she's got a lot of growing up to do. The only question I'd ask you personally, is why would you want to be involved with a woman who's like that? Alright, because surely you need someone who's a bit more mature, who wants a proper relationship, not just flitting around from relationship to relationship like a butterfly. Okay? Think about it. But generally speaking, is there some potential in the future? Watch out, midterm future signs, some resentments and some defensiveness from her. So be careful. I mean, there are some signs of happiness, but on the other hand, there's a message there that you might have to sweep all the other issues under the carpet if you want to have any happiness with her, full stop. You're the one who's in charge of your life here, but I personally don't necessarily recommend that relationship with her, okay? She does love you. Don't get me wrong there. If I was reading purely upon her feelings for you, I would say it's fantastic. But is that what you really wanted me to answer for you? Sweet one, 1869 or 1896, I can't remember. Anyway, you wanted me to, you know, you got this individual in your life, quite a new relationship. You want me to see how it's going to work out. And if not, how can you deal with the issues of the feelings that you've got for him? If you've got a problem with feelings, and we all have, okay, that means you, whoever's watching this today, we all got problems with too much connectivity, or wanting to have something so much, or wanting to have someone so much, or there's bitterness or hatred or resentment or frustration or not being able to deal with something from our past and all kinds of other stuff going on. If you've got a problem with these things, there's one thing I'd recommend you do, and it's going to sound weird, but I'm a tarot reader, I'm paid to say weird things, okay? I really shouldn't have said that. Never mind. What you got to do is to literally, okay, get on your knees morning and night. Literally on your knees, unless of course you've got a problem with your knees and you can't do it, okay? But literally on your knees, and you pray. Do not ask your God to give you strength. Do not ask your God to give you a resolution. Ask your God to take away things from you. Do it counterintuitively. Alright? Ask your higher power to take away from you the feeling of anxiety you got, the connection you got with this individual, your fear about this situation, and all the rest of it. If you want to get yourself, this is like a big tip for all you people out there. If you want to use prayer to help you get a job, okay, you don't ask your higher power to give you a job. You ask your higher power to take away from you the anxiety of looking for work. You ask your higher power to take away from you any other issues associated with the process of getting work. To take away your fear, to take away your pain, your laziness about getting work. That's what you do. You ask him to take stuff away from you, not to give stuff to you. Because if I'd asked God to give me things, by now I would have £1 billion, I would be living on an island full of naked women, and I would be drinking all the cocktails in the world, I would be partying every single day, and I wouldn't have to work, and everything would be sunshine and roses, and you know, life is not like that. And the man upstairs knows this, okay? That's the way I see it anyway. So you ask things to be taken away from you, the obstacles, the hindrances, as they say in Buddhism. The hindrances, like the restlessness, the worry, the anxiety, fear, pain. and you tell your higher power what these things are, and then hey presto, you'll start to feel a bit of relief. You do it morning and night, you get trained to feel a bit more relief, okay? And you start to get better bit by bit, and things start working in your favor. Okay? But let's have a quick look at the connection between you and him and see basically what's coming through, unless of course you think I've answered your question already for you. Alright, let's have a quick look. Not looking too bad. He's someone who can be a bit down to earth, potentially a bit of a workaholic. He likes to focus in on survival and he wants to look good. There's nothing wrong with that, but on the other hand, he shouldn't focus in on that too much himself. On your side of things, the energy between yourself and him, you've got feelings there. We discussed that already. Ace of Cups, so essentially that's your feelings towards him. That's not necessarily saying everything's going to be perfect. It's just saying you got feelings towards him, okay? And there's some energy in the force between the two of you, saying there's currently some satisfaction. It's currently looking okay. Nice, on level, peaceful, that's okay. He's got some willingness to overcome some stuff and make things work out better, so that's actually looking not too bad. Okay, progression, short-term, mid-term and long-term future. A little erratic, but I wouldn't say too bad. There's going to be some disagreements. I don't know what area of life that is, whether that's religious or political or whatever, but there's some feeling of like things not quite working out according to plan during the short-term future. Just get over it. Alright, simply just get over it. You know, deal with that, move on, apologize for things you've done wrong, and suggest that you find ways of dealing with issues together. Okay, there is some potential there. We do have some victory signs, so I'd say, you know, the potential's there. But I would say, creatively, constructively, try and use prayer, because it can be good for you. Okay? Okay, this will be the last reading of today. Hello again, Nina15C. Alright, let's have a quick look and see basically what's coming through for you with this individual you just currently met. My, you don't have an interesting love life, I'll tell you that. Let's have a quick look and see, okay? Okay, signs of happiness on his side of things, but a sense of he's still getting over some stuff from his past. It's going to be a slow developer. Forces between the two of you, new beginnings, has some good potential, but essentially you just got to work through a few issues in the here and now. Signs on your side of things, bit of a sense of fear. You discussed with me issues in the past, so essentially I can understand where some of that stuff's coming from. Okay, but I wouldn't actually worry about that too much, because essentially there's still some happiness there, so essentially try and focus in on the positivity. See how it goes, basically. It's going to be very changeable, and it's going to be quite hard work, but there's a willingness to try and make it work hard. This is the kind of situation that we would normally expect to have, okay, if there was some potential, but there was also some hard work to be done, okay, taking into account that he's not coming from a perfect place of sweetness, happiness and light at the moment, okay, but there is still some potential here, so, you know, work at it, work through, it could be okay. I'm not too worried about that. But just bear in mind that everyone's a bit of a screw up once in a while. He has screwed up once in a while in the past. Be aware of that, and just be aware there could be better things around the corner for you, so see how it goes. That is the last tarot reading of today. What I hope I've done for you today is to give you one of the most pumping, kicking tarot reading shows that you've seen for a while. We've had the 8-card relationship reading, we've had a chronological reading, we've had a past life reading, we've gone through a fair quantity of styles, and there's something very interesting about the whole thing. I really hope you've enjoyed the show. If you want to catch me live for 3 free minutes, okay, free of charge, whether you're in the UK or the USA or anywhere, there's a link down there, okay? Use it, alright? It's absolutely fantastic. 3 free minutes. If you're new to the system, use it. You have 5 minutes which are paid, and I will send you back 5 minutes free of charge, being 30 minutes total potential free, 30 minutes total potential for the price of 5. Now this is a short-term offer, the 3 free minutes, that's there, it's going to carry on being there for you, but essentially the rest of it, the extra 5 free minutes, that's on your time-limited offer, so get get that sorted out whilst you can, and take it from there. If you'd rather not do that, get on live person. I don't allow you to have too long on the initial free chat on live person, because it's a different system, okay, but essentially some people prefer that if you're at work, okay, and you want to have a little chat with Nich Dutch and you don't want the boss to know, then obviously you can do it via live person. That's a possibility for you. Although I shouldn't have said that, of course, I shouldn't have said that. shall we just say that's just, we'll put that bit down to entertainment, okay? Not necessarily a bit of advice. I'm not here to make you skive off work or anything nasty like that. No, of course not. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon on the Tarot Show. Keep your requests coming in, okay? The private messages section of this YouTube channel, Nich Dutch Tarot, that's youtube.com/user/Nich Dutch Tarot, and I will be more than happy to add you to the rota. Yes, we have a backlog, yes, we've got more to do, but that'll just be there for the next big show. We're going to have another big show coming up, and hopefully I'll be able to get that done next week, and everything is going to be absolutely rosy, fantastic. Thank you very much for making this show what it has become. Okay, I'm looking forward to making many, many more wonderful tarot shows, and if you need me again, you know where I am, and I'm more than happy to help and oblige. Okay, so speak to you in a while.